hi. Thank you for welcoming me back. Hello, how is everyone? It's been a while since I streamed. It's because if you didn't know, I had a wisdom tooth extraction like a week ago or so, and now it's finally feeling better. I still have to take some pain meds whenever, because sometimes it just hurts. it's not really, it doesn't hurt, but like it's not fun to just have this like dull buzzing pain in the back. So, but I'm slowly getting better. I can kinda eat random things, and yeah, like I try to avoid super crunchy things right now because it's kind of annoying. It's just like a giant gaping hole right now in the bottom, like, you know, where they extracted it, and it's so like I have to clean it out if it's like crunchy things and stuff get stuck in there, and so it's just yeah. Anyway, hello. Thank you for checking in, Weetabix, and thank you for checking in, Tomoya, and thank you for checking in, Gren. Hello. Oh, a 5-stream straight. Thank you. I've been playing Warframe and had a good day outside of the reminder. Yeah, that's okay. Warframe's fun. Good day outside sounds like a good day. I was really busy today. I feel like I was setting up so many things and like preparing, and I'm trying to get a lot of things done right now before I go on like my summer break, because I am not going to be here for July, and I know that sucks because I was like off for like most of June because of the wisdom tooth extraction, which is very sucky and whatever, but I won't be here for July because I will be traveling, and I'm not going anywhere exciting. I'm just traveling. I didn't eat nothing but soft meals. Like, it was for like a while. I kind of enjoyed. I was like, oh my gosh, ice cream, applesauce, mashed potatoes. It's also tasty, and yogurt. It was like, it wasn't so bad. But then I feel like day 3 or so, I started going like, wow, I really can't, like, I miss texture of any kind. Like, it just like kind of wears on you when there's nothing happening. There's just mush coming into my mouth, and it's not, I don't have to do anything, and it's just kind of, yeah. Every person I heard talking about the post wisdom tooth makes me really glad I got them all out as a teen. I could eat tortilla chips, and basically the day after, wow. I'm kind of sad I didn't get them out as a kid, because yeah, as you get older, your body is just not like, it's, unfortunately, I am past the peak prime of like my body regenerating and healing and doing anything and taking care of itself fast. But when you're a teen, your repair systems and your immune mechanisms, they're working so fast. But when I was a teen, I went to the dentist and they were like, oh yeah, your mouth is gonna be like, it's not gonna cause any problems, just, you know, you can keep them. And I was like, oh, okay. And it wasn't until like years later that they said, yeah, that was a lie. I knew I should have gotten them out in undergrad, because there was a point where my like bottom left wisdom tooth, I think it was like erupting out of the gum, which is, it's really bad, and it was starting to impact my my third or like the second molar, and it was so painful at times. It was so painful. I would like put a ball of like paper towels in my mouth and like crunch on it really hard to make sure so it wouldn't like hurt me anymore. And I would take like a bunch of like ibuprofen, and I was thinking like I should go to the dentist, but I couldn't afford a dentist, and so I would just crunch on it, and it would actually help. That was like for a whole month in undergrad during finals. Then afterwards it went away, but you know, the problem was still there. No chewing, just swallowing the food. I know, it's like you miss what chewing is like. I still feel like I can't really chew properly. I can't open my jaw really wide, and so like things are just kind of like small nibbles, and I feel like one side is like a lot harder to eat food than the other side. But I'm sure that'll get better eventually. I just had to pick up my 14-year-old brother from the police because he's been a runaway for the last 2 days. Oh no. So mine were growing in basically size, so they would have become a problem if left to grow. My top wisdom teeth, I'm surprised I was recommended to get them out because they erupted fine. Because I'm missing my, the incisors, so they grew in fine on the top. But the doctor is like, yeah, you should probably get them removed. They're gonna be a problem when you're older and you can't reach back there because they're like at the tip-top corner. And so I was like, whatever, doctor. I think you're supposed... I could have probably gotten a second opinion from a different surgeon. But it's really annoying trying to find oral surgeons to do your work for you. Especially in my area. I feel like they were constantly booked. And one time I called an oral surgeon and I was expecting, you know, the standard, like, hello, do you want to schedule an appointment? Are you a new patient? And I got, like, yelled at in Chinese. And then I was like, I'm sorry, did I call the wrong number? And then they wouldn't talk to me in English. And I was like, did I call the wrong number? And it was the right number. I have no idea. I have no idea what was going on that day, but then I was like, I can't go to that oral surgeon anymore. I called them and they yelled at me, and I don't want to know what was going on there. I had the same experience. I couldn't afford it until I got grad school health insurance. Yeah, undergrad was me living on the edge and going through whatever I could, like doing whatever I can to survive because there's no insurance. I think you're technically supposed to have insurance when you're in undergrad, but I didn't want to pay for the stupid like school insurance because it was expensive. I think I just lied about being on my family's insurance, and I was like, my family does not have. No one in my family has insurance. If too personal, I understand, but what's a ballpark cost of a wisdom tooth removal? I think it depends. Again, this is with insurance. I didn't have insurance. With insurance, I paid like 600, close to 700 out of pocket for three wisdom teeth extractions, and the little itemized bill charge for the dental insurance said it was like $2,000 or so, like that the dentist like submitted for payment. And then the insurance people, you know, they did their thing and said, no, we only pay up to this. And then you're now the person that did, yeah. And then I paid for the rest. 700 was, it's like not, I want to say it's not the worst. But it's not, that was like, I could not afford that in undergrad. I would never be able to afford that. That way too much. Like I was working. I had to work in undergrad to just like, you know, have food. What a system. Yeah, I know dental is a little like weird all over the world, though, I hear. Except like, or at least in North America. My friend told me Canadian dental is also kind of strange, and like it's not exactly covered the same way as like health insurance. But it's so weird because it's like health and dental shouldn't even be a separate thing. You know how many things like can affect your health because of your teeth? You know how many people get like nasty like infections and diseases because they have a rotting tooth, and you know what's in your mouth, the bloodstream, and that bloodstream is really close to your teeth, and you get a rotten tooth. That's bad. How much did the Tooth Fairy refund after? Those are 4 premium teeth after all. I don't think the Tooth Fairy visited me. I think she scammed me. I was hoping, since I was awake during my wisdom tooth extraction, that I would see the wisdom teeth. I wanted to be shown it, but the guy didn't. The guy didn't give me anything. I wanted to see what was in my mouth. But I'm guessing the bottom wisdom tooth, that didn't sound like there was much left. I was awake during it, and the guy was like, I'm going to like, you're gonna hear 4 cracks and a lot of pressure. Just like, don't worry though. Raise your hand if it's like too much though. And I just like, okay. And they were cracking away, and I just heard like crack, 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 and then like it was a lot of pressure. It felt weird. It was the strangest experience being awake for all of that. Health, dental, and vision is all covered by the WA Medicaid. At some places, they realize they should all be covered. They should. That's good to hear. Vision is also a weird one. I don't think I have. Yeah, for like my insurance, it's all like when I do the health insurance, like when I do insurance marketplace stuff for my employment, it's all separate stuff, which is so strange. Ah! Oh, it's kind of like off-centered. But I'm here. You didn't get me. Good attempt. Good attempt, Dr. Z-Track. Hello, what is Lesson We's learning? I'm gonna do some random science quizzes, and we're mostly just chilling. It's no, not too much learnings. I'm gonna do doctoral though. I'm really bad at this, mind you. I'm terrible at this. I think this dull is so hard to do if you don't have like either medical experience or you don't watch a lot of medical TV shows and you know a bunch of random diseases and diagnoses. I have no clue about medical diagnoses. And then after that, I think this is silly, but I opened up the AP Biology College Board exam from last year, and I want to like go through that, the free response questions. If you don't know what AP is, it's advanced placements, which is like the high school, like another one. Well. And it went. Okay. 51 times. 51. What age range is AP designed for? It's like probably anywhere between maybe like 15 to 17, 14 to 17. I want to say I took it when I was like 15, 16, something like that. It's been so many years now. You take it in high school, and it's to help you get like college credit. The AP Bio free response questions have fun. Yeah, I picked out the last year's one. I've seen many doctors play this and still have issues with because of how many different symptoms are identical to some diseases. Yeah, I'm sure it's still hard. Like even if you know what you're doing, it's probably still really hard. Again? How? And then it went? Why? Why must you guys do this to me? Okay, let's try the doctoral. A 41-year-old man presents with a chronic cough and low-grade fever for the last couple of weeks. I don't know. Cough and a low-grade fever, and it's a middle-aged man. Like, I would think a chronic cough. I don't even know where to start with this. I'm gonna go right as the failed autoclave started was when I got enough points to do it myself. You guys are just using points on cooldown to autoclave me. How could you do this? How could you do this? Coronavirus? I don't know if it would be... I feel like there would be more with COVID. Like, I don't know if a low-grade fever would... We could do it, because why not? Can I do... Coronavirus. Submit. Okay, it's incorrect. Past medical histories include chronic kidney disease with a recent kidney transplant 10 months ago. 10 months ago? Chronic kid... I feel like this gave me no information. I'm sure this maybe gave more... Maybe this means if you know, like, anything with medical stuff. But I'm like, who cares? Okay. So he maybe got something from his kidney transplant 10 months ago? It wasn't something bad in the kidney? But I have no idea how to even... It's an autoimmune disease, probably? It's probably something, like, autoimmune related. It's... A third autoclave has hit. Okay, but this one didn't go through. Thank you for checking in, Ripco, and hello! Okay, I'm gonna give this an empty one. Because I have no idea where to go. Physical exam reveals crackles in the base of the lung and scattered skin lesions. Crackles in the base of the lung and scattered... This might be something... this is actually in my wheelhouse. This is in my wheelhouse. Because this is something like... Pretty sure this is something fungal. Because when I used to work with mice, and we'd infect them with, like, lung fungal infections, we also look at the crackle. We'd look at something called crackles. That means they probably are on anti-injection meds, so immunocomp are all something that's related to the diagnosis. So this, I think, in a way... Okay, and that one didn't hit either. Defective lungs. Tuberculosis. I wish... Okay, I need an easy mode where I can, like... click and it gives me a bunch of lists of things I can potentially click on, because the problem is I don't even know. I'm trying to think, where do I even like start? Tuberculosis? I don't think it's tuberculosis. When I worked at when I worked I did a PhD rotation in a tuberculosis lab, and I don't think this sounds like tuberculosis to me as the expert of doing a 1-month PhD rotation with tuberculosis. Hmm. 3 weeks tops? I don't think it's 3 weeks tops. Let me watch 22 seasons of Grey's Anatomy real quick. This is where I falter. I don't watch The Pit. I don't watch Grey's Anatomy. I didn't watch House. I don't know anything. My gosh, there is a lot of diseases. Sorry, I'm just like looking. I was thinking it could be cystic fibrosis. I guess we can try that. I don't think it's going to be, because the chronic cough sounds a little off, and it's about... I mean, not the chronic cough, but, like, the kidney transplant part makes me think no. Incorrect. A chest x-ray reveals patchy infiltrates in several lung lobes. This is definitely some kind of fungal infection now. I think it's fungal infection, but I don't know... Fungus. No. It is not that kind of infection. I know the word for the fungal infection, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. Yeah, yeah, I guess I should serve myco. Okay, I don't think it's mycobacterium tuberculosis. I don't think it's There's too many fungal infections. What's the most? I think it's one of these. Oops. I'm torn between these two. Or I guess like one of these. It might be lupus. Histoplasmosis might. Pneumonia is as far as my medical expertise guess goes. Oh, I remember. It could also... I wish I knew more about funguses. All I know is my specific fungus that I studied. How many guesses do I have? 1, 2, 3. So what if I do one of these? What if we use our giga big brain to understand what possibly each of these could mean? It probably just has to do with the exact kind of fungus that they're getting infected by, I guess. So I can't. Mycoplasma. I know, it could be me. What if it's a Mycoplasma Nico infection? All the words on the list are scary sounding. I mean, I don't think you want any of these. We're gonna try Mycoplasma Pneumoniae. Okay. The man works in the Frederick Mayer Gardens in Michigan as a groundskeeper. It's trying to tell me, I think, where exactly this person's located. I'm guessing he inhaled something bad. He inhaled something bad in the Midwest, like, area of America, and there's probably some specific kind of, like, yeast fungus infection that happens in that. Poor guy, he's just a Frederick Mayer Gardens groundkeeper, and he's got so much happening. Okay. We have to lock in, or else this guy's gonna die. We can't let him die, guys. As the doctor. Nico, hi Trixie! And they haven't quarantined off the gardens? What are they doing? They should do something! Hi Beppo, hello, thank you for the 7th stream streak. Hello, hope you're doing good. I don't think the Meyer insurance is gonna be great, I'm gonna be honest. We've got one shot, one kill. One shot, one kill to kill off this fungus impression. How you doing, sire? I'm doing fine. I'm already feeling. I'll be honest. I haven't talked that much in this week. Like, I've talked a bit here and there, but I am feeling like my jaw is not used to talking this much. So this is likely going to be a short stream, unfortunately. But, you know, I just wanted to say hi and do something. Maybe he swallowed a bug and that's why his lungs are crackling. What if the bug is just causing a mess right in his lungs? That'd be wild. Okay. Okay, I'm torn between these two, mostly because I think they sound funny. But I also like coccidiomycosis. You want Blasto? Anyone for Blasto? Anyone for Paracoccidillitis? And I'm gonna go Blasto if not. Blastomycosis? Okay, we're gonna blast to your cosis. Oh! We did it! We figured it out. Wow, we're in the top 10%. Okay, no one was getting that one. Now, what's blasting mycosis? Okay, let's learn more. Let's learn more about it together. Blastomycosis. Blastomycosis is a systemic fungal infection caused by the dimorphic fungus Blastomyces species. Oh! Makes sense. It is caused by an inhalation of environmental candida that convert to pathogenic yeast in the lungs and may disseminate. Common symptoms include fever, cough, weight loss, pneumonia, and varicose or ulcerative skin lesions. Workup includes fungal culture, microscopy showing broad-based budding yeast, antigen testing, and chest imaging. Treatment involves itraconazole for mild to moderate disease and amphotericin B for severe or disseminated infections. He was so yeasted up. His lungs were fungused. Imagine your doctor guessing your disease because the words sounded funny. That's us, Dr. Nico. It's so obvious now that I know. I know, it's so obvious. How could we have missed it? Interesting. Yeah, it is the big guns. There goes all my I worked with a specific type of yeast infections for about like a year in one of my research labs, and fungus is kind of cool. What we would do, and I'm just talking about my fungus experience now. I'm not very informed. We would work with immunocompromised mice, and we wanted to see how this like pervasive yeast kind of infection in our lungs, like everyone has this kind of infection in their lungs, but we wanted to see specifically how it affects immunocompromised mice, aka they can't really fight back. And we would give them like a little bud of yeast, and we'd like force it down their throat. It was like kind of I really didn't like doing that. I didn't like doing that experiment. You'd have to like have the mice like sedated, and then you like open up their mouth, and then you have to do like a tracheal injection like down their throat through their trachea, and then like drop off the yeast right into their lungs. And then we'd measure like a bunch of things, like how their heart, like how their lung function would do, and you'd put them in a special machine where you like measure how much of their breath is like impacted by the yeast infection. And then afterwards, when the mice were deaders, we'd like take their lungs and then look at all the different immune cells and stuff that were in the lungs. It was like a really hard lab. I was there for about a year, and I learned a lot. But man, it was kind of difficult. And also the guy wasn't really nice. I didn't really like working with the guy. But yeah, fungus is super rad. It's very underrated. I think I don't know what the kidney really had to do with it. Fungi are interesting, especially the pathogenic ones. Yeah, it's very fascinating. It was also really difficult. It was really, really difficult to for me to get in there, because I feel like my knowledge of like mycology in general was kind of weak compared to like if I worked in a like bacteriology lab or virology lab. I feel like my classes didn't really go over like mycology as well as anything else. No one care about fungi. They're not fun guys in the class. Mice write about Nico and folklore to scare the shit. I think they probably write a lot about. I think scientists are the boogeymen of the mice folklore. I love prehistoric fungus species. Whatever paleobotany and whatever the fungus equivalent of it is cool. I think it's pretty cool too. I wish I knew more about it. I should learn, but learning there's so many things to learn. Okay, we're gonna try this next. Hold on, enhance. AP Biology free response questions from 2025. Woo! So they give back like history on what AP Biology is, because I know there's a lot of people in here that they're not Americans. They don't know what this AP nonsense is. So advanced placements, they're the special classes you take to like, they're supposed to be like college level subject matters. Usually I don't know when you exactly, I don't know. Okay, it's hard for me to say when you take them, because my school like offered only one AP class in general, because we didn't have enough people to care about AP. So I just remember I took one in like junior year, which is like 11th grade, and I was like 15, 16. And I took AP Biology as a kid as well, but I didn't take the class. I signed up to take the exam without the class because my school didn't offer the class, but I wanted to self-study and get the credit from the exam, and I did pass. I studied like really hard, and it was really, really difficult for me, especially when you're like a 16-year-old person just like reading a book by yourself, and there was like no teachers to help me, and also the internet kind of sucked back then, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I feel like nowadays you can learn so many things so easily online. There's like so many YouTube videos you can watch. You can learn through like anything. There's so many resources. Back in my day. You teach the course? Oh, okay, let's see. Mycology is often glossed over in undergrad, though even it gets more things like honey and slime mold. Though maybe that's because there's not any role in pathology. I think that's probably a big reason why. I think it's still cool. Okay, we're going to go through this. It's not timed. We have until whenever. Yeah, directions. This is just the free response. There's like also a multiple choice part of it, but I don't think it's as fun doing the multiple choice. I don't think it's as fun. Questions 1 and 2 are long free response questions. It suggests that you spend about 25 minutes on each. Questions 3 and 6 are short free response questions. It suggests that you spend about 10 minutes on each. I'm getting like anxious doing this. I hate exams. I was really bad at exams. If you are a child, a student of any kind, just know I sucked at exams. But I still am working like as a scientist, so don't worry if you suck at exams. Students have 90 minutes to take all 6 questions. I have no idea how different things are now. Okay, here is question 1. Hold on. Making sure I can see. I'm trying to like read this. Okay. Most proteins that are secreted from a cell must be transported to the endoplasmic reticulum, ER, either during translation or after translation. Describe the function of ribosomes. Is that like, oh, that's just the question, just A? Question A is just describe the function. Okay, maybe I overestimated how hard this is gonna be. Ribosomes. It does just this is kind of feels like a free ball because the next part is about they're about proteins. I wonder if they look for because I think with the scoring guidelines for these kind of standardized free response quizzes, there's often like keywords people are looking for. You probably can't just say makes proteins. You could like say they do. I guess there's like a lot of ways you can do this. You can say ribosomes are like part of like protein translation, or they are part of like protein synthesis, something like that. Okay, well, that's question A done. That wasn't so bad. For proteins transported during translation, it also even just tells you I always think standardized tests are kind of silly, but it almost feels like kind of like a game of knowing how to answer rather than the knowledge. Like there's always like little parts you should know. I don't like standardized tests that much, but it's fun to like look at these. For proteins transported during translation, this process begins in the cytosol and pauses when a specific sequence of amino acids is translated. The translation complex is then transported to the surface of the ER where translation continues. Proteins that are transported after translation are translated entirely in the cytosol and then transported to the ER. In both instances, the translated proteins enter the ER through a protein channel in the membrane of the ER. Okay. It's just telling you about protein translation. Okay. Anxiety went. I know. My test anxiety was always so bad. But I also think sometimes it was me not preparing well enough, and that's why I was anxious. Researchers studying the 2 types of protein transport identify that the ER membrane protein SR is necessary for transport during translation, while the ER membrane protein SEC62 is necessary for transport after translation. To investigate which transport mechanism is used for different proteins, researchers first created small interfering RNAs. Wow, they're teaching them about siRNAs that reduce the expression of either SR or SEC62. They then treated groups of cells with either the siRNA or the SEC62 siRNA and determine the relative amount of SR and SEC62 protein in each group of cells compared with cells treated with a control siRNA. Do you have the answer sheet to compare answers? I can probably pull it up afterwards. We can look at it together. Yeah, I can look it up afterwards. Can I write? If I write, maybe I can write so we can do it. Protein. I know that's ugly, but I'm doing it with my mouse, okay? Are there any other notable enzymes constituted ribonucleic acids, ribosomes, like the ribosome? There's like, yeah, like Ichiro said, small nuclear ribonucleoproteins. I am not really big on RNA biology. That part, that's like it's pretty complicated. I've talked about this before, but I'm having to like learn a lot of like protein biology and RNA biology lately, because so much of cancer biology research is moving towards more of like protein based rather than genomic based with like DNAs. So I've been trying to bolster that lately. Okay, identify the dependent variable in the experiments shown in figure 1. So like, what's the dependent variable? As in, it would be this, right? Like that. That's the thing we're depending on the values of that. I just love the name for SNRPs. It's funny to say when talking about RNA for I like that too. SNRPs. Justify why the researchers included the control of measuring the relative amounts of both Sec62 and SR proteins in cells that were treated with Sec62 siRNA only. I kind of like this question. I feel like these questions sound better than the ones I like remember taking when I was but a wee child. But maybe they're all the same. I noticed before, when I used to study for these things, they tend to kind of like follow similar patterns of what they want from you. So maybe that's always been like this, but surely they've changed the format a lot since I took it like years and years ago. Okay, so why did they include the control? So they included the control because they needed to figure out whether the Sec62 siRNA only was affecting Sec62. So like, it's the way to kind of, you know, it's there to control. I don't know. Q1 is always scientific method. Q2 is always analysis. Q3, Q6 are always concept. Ah, I see. The expert of the AP biology is here to guide us in like what concepts we're learning here. So I'm gonna type it because that's way too much typing. Control is there to determine if S62 siRNA only affected S62. Easy clap. That's if you don't have control, then no one would believe what you're showing as a real effect. Exactly. If you can, you need controls. You need a control. It needs to be something there to show you that it's like actually real and things are happening. Sometimes, like, even looking at papers nowadays, I have to be really, sometimes it's like really unclear what controls they're even using. Some papers, they do not make it clear how they're actually like comparing results. You would think, oh, that would never get accepted to like a major like publication, but sometimes, I don't know, there's some bad science experiments out there on some bad figures. Sometimes they have like control information in the supplemental, and I go, why was this put in the supplemental? Shouldn't this be in the main figure? I kind of want to know the control effects. There's some bad science. Based on figure 1, describe the effect on the production of SR protein when cells are treated with Sec62 siRNA. Okay, describe the effect of production of SR protein when cells are treated with So when they are treated with the Sec62 siRNA, the production of SR protein, when they are treated with Sec62, it is increased. It go up. It go up comparatively. See? It go up. It go up. It go up. So control is a reference point that is affected by the other stuff, and it's used in both to show how different proteins affect in relation to the control. Control is always like, it's to show, controls can be used for like a lot of different things, but mostly it's to show like this, you know, this protein can be at like this base level, it's not getting affected by other things. This effect, like, it can be used to show like this effect is real. It's not just because of like something is wrong with my proteins, there's not something wrong with whatever, it's real. Again, sometimes controls can be a little different depending on whatever experiment you're running. Sometimes it can just, but for the most part, it's to show this is what it's like at like a base level, and it's not getting affected by other things. The researchers then measured the amount of each of the 3 different proteins the researchers measured the amount of each of the 3 different proteins that was transported. Then measured the amount of each of the 3 different proteins that was transported. Sorry, I was stumped, like my brain couldn't figure out what they were trying to say. That was transported to the ER in cells treated with Sec62 siRNA or siRNA. The researchers calculated the percent transported relative to the cells treated with control siRNA. The average relative amounts of 3 proteins that were transported to the ER when treated with control siRNA, siRNA, error bars represent standard deviations. Relative amount of transport: protein 1, protein 2, protein 3. If only like graphs in real papers were labeled this clearly and so easy to understand. I feel like I've been looking at some not very nice, this week, I think there was a paper that was just like really upset. There was a paper that was really upsetting me. I think I was more upset because it was like some time since I've been back at work. And I was like, oh my gosh, this graph is so hard to understand, and there's so many different moving parts, and things are not very clearly labeled, and I was getting so annoyed. Graphs should be so easy to like, figures should be so like straightforward. When I was an undergrad, one of the lessons I learned that like really stuck with me was like a figure should, if like a figure flew out of your like manuscript, you need to be able to, like, anyone should be able to pick up that figure and understand exactly what you're trying to do. Like, they should understand the relative experiment. They should be able to understand what the like why this was kind of like done and how it was, not how necessarily, but you should be able to understand anything. The best papers are written in very easy to understand language, no jargon. I agree, though it's just hard to push for that. It's so difficult to get people to accept your no jargon simple papers. Every time I've tried to write like something, I've like submitted parts for a manuscript, I get edited so much that my voice is like gone, and it's now back to super science, like heavy jargon and hard to understand sentences and all of that jazz. And it's really frustrating, but I'm not powerful enough to say no to the people that are editing my work, so I just go, yes, okay, thank you. But where do you draw the line of what constitutes jargon? That is like a difficult part. I think sometimes it's not even just like jargon, but sometimes it's like the sentences themselves are too overly complex for no reason except to sound smarter. The people editing, they love to use super fancy words and like fancy sentences and structures to kind of like make it unclear what exactly you're saying for no reason other than like it sounds smarter. My most hated are histology papers with 20 different labels. I at this point now, I'm so used to cancer papers that have like a billion different like acronyms. But I used to like really struggle with understanding exactly all these different acronyms for cancers. There's so many different acronyms. You have to learn all these things, and then there's so much also. It's hard. It's really hard to understand. And the one part that makes cancer biology also can be difficult to read the papers, they like to talk about genes in a way that you should already know what these genes are, but would only know them if you are part of cancer biology. They just like rip what KRAS is, and I get it. KRAS is a very well-known oncogene, but they just rip KRAS into the like the KRAS signaling pathway into like the RAS pathway into the paragraph without really explaining like why that's important to mention. As soon as I see a semicolon, no semicolon. At this point, I don't know, like it's so hard to like tell AI writing. There's like really obvious AI writing, but the other day someone sent me, like a colleague sent me their AI like written thing, and I was like, oh, that was really well written. And they're like, oh, thanks, Claude just used this. And I was like, oh, okay. It was generally like I could not tell, and like I guess they were telling me like they taught it, like they fed it a bunch of their work and writing, and it sounds just like them. And I was like, it actually kind of does sound like your old work. I love synthetic organic chemistry. Any decent paper you get can glean 90% of the content entirely from the figures. Yeah, that is like how it should be usually. I remember being taught in technical writing, write for 6th grade for the public, write for undergrad for professional publication. Write for 6th grade is like how, yeah, like if I get it for professional publication, it's hard to make it more like, it's hard to, especially depending on the science you're talking about, it's hard to make it like lower than undergrad. But I do wish sometimes there was more of a simpler way to explain the science. Like I wish, like I hate a lot of people read science through news articles that simplify it like to that 6th grade level, but it usually misses so much like nuances, because a lot of times those news articles aren't written by scientists, they're just written by like people that are kind of like generally trying to understand the science. A new undergrad in the lab should understand your work. Yeah, they really should. I will never forget that Helms from taking my beloved M dash from me. You just use the M dash. Don't fear. Just use the M dash. Okay, I got lost in talking about papers because that's my like I get too caught up in that. Okay, identify the independent variable in the researcher's second experiment. Okay, the independent variable is this. Where's my pen? Where'd it go? Okay. So the independent variable would be, isn't it the type of siRNA? The siRNA. siRNA. It looks funny when you don't capitalize it properly. Based on figure 2, identify the proteins that when treated with Sex62 siRNA showed an increase in percent transport to the ER compared to the control. It's like, where's my significant like values? Where's the stars? None of this is, there's no stars. But like, I guess technically it would be these two, but I don't think that's a significant difference. Surna is what Gen Z parents are calling their kids. Some young names out there are crazy. I don't know what people are doing. What happened to naming what happened to just using the good old bland 4-letter, 5-letter names? Okay, protein 1 is encoded by 234 nucleotides, while protein 2 is encoded by 495 nucleotides. Assuming all nucleotides for both proteins encode amino acids, we're assuming a lot here. Question. Calculate the difference in the number of amino acids between the two proteins. I don't want to do math. I'm not going to calculate it. So what? It'd be 495 divided by 3, because that's how much amino nucleotides you need to make the proteins, and then 2, 3, 4 divided by 3, whatever number, something like that. Nucleotides are so annoying. Can I now I've been nerd sniped by the nucleotides in this question. We are trying to, at work, someone was asking, like, what do you do, or like, what exon do you consider an amino acid if the nucleotide is like shared, like in the borders of one exon to another? I'm like, I have no idea. I didn't even think this was like a real problem out here. Apparently one of those nucleotides was like right on the junction, and I was like, I hate exons. I hate nucleotides. Why is this so complicated? Why can genomics and like proteins be so hard? You would think when I was but a wee lad before entering my work field, I thought I knew so much about biology and proteins and genomics and genetics. I know nothing, because there's so many like weird off cases. Really out there, silly names are perhaps best reserved for pets. Imagine a cat named Blastomycosis. I love naming pets, and I love naming like online. Like if I play any game, I will name them after the randomest things in science. Like when I play MapleStory, you have to make like 50 something characters. Like most of my characters' names are different FDA approved oncology drugs. So if you ever if you play MapleStory and you see a random person named like Vepdestrant or Revumenib or Selpercatinib, that's me. And those names are always available too, because who else is naming themselves after FDA approved drugs? I'll try and give my child a name from a video game or a TV show. Nothing crazy, but something cool. I think sometimes I feel like that was like kind of a trend to name your kids. I remember hearing a lot of people name their kids after like random TV shows, and I feel it's usually not a problem until like you choose a name that's like really, really unique and out there, and then it's like, oh gosh, you just named your kid like Inuyasha. Like, I don't know if you should have named your kid Inuyasha. I don't know if you should have named your kid Naruto. Reject polymers return to the platonic beauty of small molecules. True. I remember a meme where it was like a list of names, and it was Pokemon or drug name. I remember that. I've seen that meme picture before, and it was honestly pretty hard. Maybe because I don't know enough of I don't recognize the names of enough modern day Pokemon, and so I was like, huh. You telling me that's not a drug? You should just go around the lab that Loratadine sounded like a thrash. It kind of does. There's some cool names out there, and then there's also names that are not very cool. There's some names that kind of suck. Okay. My jaw is starting to hurt. I think I'm gonna have to call it soon. So, thank you for sticking around. I just wanted to at least say hi. I know we didn't get to finish through this, but it was like just nice to catch up and talk and stuff. And I'll try to stream longer tomorrow, of course, depending on how my mouth feels. But it was nice hanging out today and coming back. I want to stream more next week though, because I will be gone July, like I said, and next week's gonna be like my last week. So I'm gonna try. But even when I'm gone, don't worry, I will be uploading videos. I'm recording a bunch of things, and I'll be in the Discord. So, you know, if you can still catch up in the Discord. So thank you guys for hanging out. I will see you guys tomorrow, and we'll be working on the chibi model. I'm gonna go take some pain meds now. I wasn't used to all that. Goodbye, Gran. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Thank you guys. Bye, bye.